Okay, now we're live. We're trying to build this MMO type of game. We're gonna be building it with Next.js, Phaser, and Bun using WebSockets. This is the first time that I'm gonna be building a game, so it's gonna be a learning experience. Hopefully, I can also learn something from you guys. But let's see how it goes now. Uh, I am using this template from, let's see, Phaser. This template that provides Phaser as a starting point. Template Next.js. So this is what we're gonna be using. It only has a menu screen, like a way to start your game, project structure, React bridge to communicate between the backend, the front end and Phaser, and Phaser scene handling. So we're going to be using that. Now, this is the first time that I'm using this template. It runs on the port 8080. So I really have no idea what we're going to do or how are we going to do it. But we are vibe coding. We're going to let Windsurf do everything for us. We're going to be using mainly GPT-5 low reasoning for the simple reason that it's not expensive. It's actually very cheap, half of a credit cost, and it's a pretty good model. You can't compare it with Claude, but for the price, it's pretty good. Now, with more challenging tasks, we're gonna be using Claude Sonnet 4.5. Cause right now it's in a promotion. 1 credit. The prompt. So now what are we gonna do here? Change scene. Let me try to understand a little bit the project first, because this is my first time using something like this, Phaser. Now, the way we change scenes, this bundle has a face scene handling class, it says right here. So I guess that's how this works. Toggle movement. Okay, we have animations. Now I'm gonna review a little bit how this is done. Now, to add a new sprite, we just press this button and it'll add a new sprite onto the scene. Can we do it in a different scene? Yes. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do real quick is just navigate the project a little bit. Actually, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna ask GPT-5 to navigate this project and explain it to me. Hey, what's up, GPT-5? This is my first time using Face.js. I want you to explore the project and explain it to me in general terms. Please do that now. Please do that now. Now, let's see what GPT-5 comes up with. This is GPT-5 low reasoning, and it's right now, in this very moment, half of a credit. Half of a credit it costs. Half of a credit. It's in a promotion. So that's what we're going to be using for the most part. Now, let's see. To explain your project accurately, I'll first inspect the repository structure and key files. I'll list the root directory to see the layout. Okay, do your thing. explore the project. I wanna let it explore the project, but I'm also going to explore it by myself. So let's see, just because I just want to see how it works. How's that thing, this change scene working, this toggle movement, and how do we add new sprites? Like, what's up with that? Like, how do we do that? Just want to understand the main the main ins and outs, if you can say it like that. So let's see, can move sprite. This is a use state hook, use ref, phaser ref. Okay, so I guess this is what we're gonna be using to handle most of the things in this game. These phaser ref, current scene. Okay, we store the scene in this constant. If scene, then we change the scene. Okay, then we call this function whenever we, what's this? Let's see, when do we call this function? Change scene. Okay, when we click this button. And how do we load the scene? How do we change the scene? Okay, I want to see the scenes that we have available. Scene add. No, that's not it. Where is current scene? Okay, can move sprite. Phaser game. Now, is GPT-5 done with the exploring? Because that might do a better job at explaining me this project. I'm not seeing any face detection libraries here. What was that? What was that about? Why was he looking for face detection libraries? This repo is a Phaser 3. What? Oh, Face.js. Yeah. Face.js. Yeah, I meant to say Phaser.js. Okay. This repo is a Phaser 3 Next.js React template. If you meant Phaser.js, here's yeah, I meant Phaser. What is it? Next, okay, why tech stack? No, we don't care about that. Vite bundled build. Now the app flow. The entry is this file. So we have the entry in this file. We have here app without SSR. Yeah, we are importing this component app, and we are rendering here the component, which is this React app renders the game and some UI buttons to, let's see, change scenes, call the current scene, toggle logo. Hold on, I want to bring up the assets that we're going to be using just to have them here. Now, toggle logo tween in main menu. Yeah, I understand that. Phaser boot mounts the Phaser game via start game. Now the Phaser boot, it should be like a, I guess a use. No, I thought I was gonna be a use effect hook, but no. So where exactly does the app start? Function app. Phaser ref. Change scene. Move sprite. Phaser ref current. We get the scene. Okay, Phaser ref current scene. Then scene. If scene equals key. If scene is the main menu, we get the update logo position. We move the sprite. We are able to move the sprite. Yeah, okay. We get the logo. Scene move logo. Okay, we have where do we get this function from? Move logo. Main menu, move logo. Okay. Okay. It's here. Move logo, main menu. Now what's this? Okay, this is a scene, extends scene. Okay, I understand now. Background, logo, title. So we should have, yeah, we have other scenes. We have boot, we have game over, and preloader. Let's see. Hold on, I'm gonna move this to the side. And I'm gonna send you guys a message. Welcome to the stream. What's up? Right. Yeah, it's working. Service isn't available. Okay. What up? Now. Wait, hold on. So we have this main menu. We're not able to click anything. Change scene, make something fun. Game over. So I understand we have these three scenes. Game over, main menu, but where's the boot? The boot scene is typically used to load in any assets you require for your preloader, such as game logo or background. The smaller the file size of the assets, the better, as the boot scene has no preloader. Okay, let's see now. Let's see this background. This background is these. Okay, so we use this scene, boot scene, to preload any assets. In this case, we only have the background. Actually, we should have the star. Where's the star? Where's the star loaded? I want to understand this part. Pages. No. Where is the star? Should be in assets or something like that. Public assets here. Okay, now in boot we load the background assets. Yes, now the star. How do we load the star? .png. Preloader. Okay, what's this? This is another scene. And here we're loading the logo and the star. Now the preloader. How do we run this preloader? Main. Okay, main right here. Okay, scene. Okay, we're loading here all the scenes. Boot, preloader, main menu, main game, and game over. So I understand the boot. The preloader, not really. The main menu. This is the main menu. Okay, this is the main menu. Then we have the main game, which is this, I guess. Let's see, main game. Make something fun. Yeah. This is it. And we're using this object because we're using a class, and we're using the scene properties. In this case, camera, background, game text, event bus. Okay, also the event bus. This is also that comes with the this template, this starter kit. Now, used to emit events between components, HTML and phaser scene. Okay, this is a class or an object from the phaser library. Okay, events emitter. So I guess it has like its own functions to emit events. Wow, this is cool. Current scene ready. This will be very useful. This is going to be useful. Current scene ready. Now, these gets sent, and phaser game. Okay, all of the scenes emit this message, but only phaser game receives this message. Okay, now in case this event is received. Current active scene and type of current active scene is a function. This is a way. This is a way to make sure the function exists. And current active scene. Okay, yeah, this is a way just to make sure the function exists. But where's this function? Where is this function? Where's this function? Where's this function declare? Where is it? Current. Oh man, I'm not understanding most of this. Current. Okay, this is passed as a property. Current active scene. And Phaser. Okay. Okay, see it's here. Current active scene. Phaser game. We pass the active scene. Okay. And what's all of this? Okay. This is the scene. This is just the scene. This is extra. Okay, now I understand that part. This is how we change scenes with this function. And when we click change scene, we set. But wait, I don't understand this part. Change scene. Current scene as main menu. Yeah, I don't understand. How do we change this scene? Exactly, because here we're just getting the scene. If a scene exists, we change the scene, and we call this function phaser ref current. But how do we actually change the scene? Like, we iterate through an array, or what do we do exactly? Scene, change scene. Okay, so I guess this function is going to be implemented in every scene. Let's see, for example, we have main menu. We should have a change scene, right? right. We call this function this logo tween. We stop the scene start game. Then we start a new scene. And we're going to be calling the scene named game. Because here in main, oh no. Now I'm not understanding. We start game, but we don't have a scene called game. Where is this game coming from? Let's see, this is kind of confusing now. Game. Nope. Game, phaser game, const game. Okay, no. But I want to see this change scene implementation in another function. For example, let's see. Main menu, let's see, for example. Okay. So we call the function here, we call the scene by its name game. But what I don't understand is here we're declaring boot. I see here boot, preloader, main menu, main game. Okay, main game should be this one then. Game as main game. Yeah, that's what was kind of confusing, but now I get it. Yeah. Game over. Yeah. And then game over. So let's see. Main menu. Okay, so when the game is over, we change scene. We call main menu. Okay, now I get this part. And here on create, what we do is set the camera, set the background color, put some text, game over, and emit current scene ready. Current scene ready. Let's go back again to see what happens on the Phaser game when current scene is emitted. So we set the current scene because we want to have here the current scene. Okay. We call this from app set current scene. Right. Current scene. Yeah, here. And we set here the current scene. No, wait. Current active scene is here being called. Current active scene. Then we call this set can move sprite. Oh, okay. This is just to toggle these toggle movement. Yeah. Because we're only activating this in case it's the main menu. Then we have set can move sprite. And if set move sprite is true, we activate this button. Otherwise, we're gonna disable it. Toggle movement. Yeah, disabled it. Okay. Disabled. Okay, I kind of understand that part now. Phaser boot. Phaser game mounts the Phaser game via start game and listens to event bus for scene readiness. Phaser game listens for. Okay, let's go back to main. Where is Phaser game here? Start game, return new game. Return new game. Game. Okay, yeah, Phaser is a new object. We give it a configuration, and for some reason it also receives a parent. What's this parent now? What's this parent? Start game parent string. Start game. Start game. Okay, where do we call this? Start game import game current start game. Okay, we use layout effect. Start game, and then we pass game container. Okay, parent is called game container. We pass the parent. We pass game container. Okay. Not really understand that part, but okay. Type ref function. Return if game current destroy. Event bus on current scene ready. Use effect. Now, I want to see the bigger picture, so I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. Phaser game. We have a use layout effect. This is from React. Ooh, I didn't know this one. Use layout effect. I didn't know this one. Now return. Can you explain to me what game structure? I want you to explain to me. Actually, what we can do is press Ctrl Shift. How was it? Ctrl Shift and then click, and then here we get an explanation. We're also going to be using that a lot. Is a React hook that runs synchronously after DOM mutations but before browser paint. Okay, runs after DOM mutation but before browser paint. It enables reading layout from the DOM and synchronously re-rendering if needed, making it ideal for measurement or imperative DOM manipulations that must be completed before the user sees the updated screen. Okay, so the use runs of the same life cycle. Example usages on the in the code base. Use layout effect is used to initialize a Phaser game instance and attach it to a DOM container before the browser paints, ensuring the game is ready on first render. This usage ensures that the game instance is created immediately after the DOM node game container is available. Okay, let me understand this part. The game instance is created immediately after the DOM node is available. Okay, the ref is updated synchronously, so parent components receive the correct reference before paint. Okay, found in purpose initialized canvas-based game Phaser that requires immediate access to DOM layout. Okay, loud. Now, if we inspect this should be then a canvas. Yeah. Game container. We have this element. Where is it? Main. It's a game container. We have to pass the parent. Then we create the game, which is a canvas. Okay. And let's see. Here in index, we should have, okay, I wasn't expecting this. Main, we have main, but then we have app. And under app, let's see app. We have app here, then we have the Phaser game. Alright, we have app. This is it. Then the Phaser game, this is the canvas. Okay, this is the actual canvas. Game container. Oh, wait. Return ID game container. It's returning these. And then here, current start game container. This is going to be the parent. So we're going to tell Phaser that this is going to be the parent container. Where is it? Here. Okay, this is going to be the parent container. This is going to be with height, background color. All right, let me just try this. C3. Now that didn't change anything. That didn't do anything. Did it? No, it didn't. Because what if we set it to, how was it? FFF00. Should be like red, green, blue. That should be green. RBG. Actually, no, that should be blue. Or no, yeah, it was green. So yeah, we set it to green, but then we render all of these scenes. Okay, I get it now. I get it. So let's set it to black. Okay. Okay. I kind of get this. Type auto. Now it says here if we can explore the documentation if we want to understand a little bit about config. Now there's this type config type type object. Let's search for auto. Const auto type, it's a number, optional, const auto. Which renderer to use? Phaser auto, Phaser canvas, headless, WebGL. Auto picks WebGL if available, otherwise canvas. Okay, alright, sounds good. Now with hide parent, let's just see what this are. Wait, where's okay? I guess it's sorted by most popular. The width of the game and the in-game pixels. In-game pixels. Okay, we're gonna have to play around with that if we want to. If we want to render it for mobile. Zoom. Okay, zoom. Simple scale applied to the game canvas. 2 is double size. 0.5 is half. Stable sort. True. Use the built-in stable sort needed for older browsers. False. Okay. Parent. Parent, I guess it's self-explanatory. It doesn't have a description here. Canvas. Provide your own canvas element for Phaser to use instead of creating one. Yeah, because otherwise we're going to be creating one. Canvas style. CSS styles to apply to the game canvas instead of Phaser. Okay. Okay. Custom environment. In Phaser running under a custom environment. If so, set this to true to skip internal feature detection. If true, the render type cannot be left as auto. Context. Canvas rendering context style. Provide your own canvas for Phaser to use instead of creating one. Okay. Scene. Yeah, this is an array and a scene or scenes to add to the game. If several are given, the first is started. The remainder are started only if they have active true. Set the scene config argument. Okay, so that's why we have boot here first, because this scene is loaded. It loads the background, then it starts the next scene. Then it starts the next scene. Okay, this is used to. What if we play here a set timeout of no. I just want to console log boot scene. Let's wait 3 seconds. I want to see what happens here. So I'm going to 1, 2, 3. But boot scene. Okay, wait, hold on. Oh yeah. Wait, no. Again, let's do this again. 1, 2, 3. It gets loaded, then calls a timeout. Okay, no, what I want to do actually is call these. Wait. And start preloader. Now, what will be the difference between the why will we need a boot scene and then a preloader? So we have 1, 2, 3, and then we call the preloader, and then the preloader sets the background. Okay. I think I know what this is for. Use the progress event emitted by the loader plugin to update the loading bar. The loading bar, okay. I don't see the loading bar, but I guess that's because it's too fast. Yeah, I don't see the loading bar, but if we want to see the loading bar, what we can do here is not setting a timeout, but on progress. Wait. How are we? Use the progress event emitted by the loader plugin to update the loading bar. Okay, this is an event called automatically by the loader plugin. Preload. Okay. Bar. We simply add a rectangle. Set path. Image, logo, star, create. When all the assets have loaded, it's often worth creating global objects here that the rest of the game can use. You can define global animations here so we can use them in other scenes. Move to the main menu. You can also swap this for a scene transition, such as a camera fade. Okay, then we go to the main menu. Here we only have we don't have init, we don't have preload, create, log.js. Okay. A single anonymous request unless you use the no-log script. There's no face detection on I know that. Now game logic. Now for the last thing I just want to understand the scene life cycle. Okay. It was my mistake. I meant to say facer JS. Now so we can start developing, I want to understand the scene life cycle. Can you explain it to me? Now that's the last thing I want to do before starting this project. Just I want to understand the life cycle. Like, what do we call first? Init, preload, create, and what are the other methods that we have available? Okay, so the first thing, of course, is a constructor. Yeah. Instantiates your scene class and assigns its key via soup. Okay, we have a key, I guess. Yeah. So then it assigns this key. What if, for example, what if the main menu, we change the key to crazy8, and then here on preloader we call crazy8 instead. Will it work? Oh yeah, we also have to remove from boot, we have to remove this timeout. Yeah. Will it work? Yeah, it's still working. But if we set it back to main menu and from preloader we're still calling crazy8, it should break, right? Should break. Yeah. Scene key not found. Okay. Yeah. Now init data runs once before. Here we have an example. Runs once right before preload. Set up local states. Set a loader UI. Read incoming data from these scene start. Example in preloader. Draws background and progress bar. Now in preload, queue assets via this load. Loader events like progress fire here. Okay, this is where in preload this event gets fired. Okay. Okay. Now I want to console log the progress. Yeah, I want to console log the progress, but I want to say preloader and then the progress. Okay, and also in the next one, in main menu. Yeah, in main menu. In what's this? Init? An init? Okay, let's call it an init. In init, I also want to that on progress, and then we have what? Oh, this load. That load on progress, and then we have progress number console main menu. Okay, yeah, I want to see this too. I want to understand a little bit how it works before we. Okay, preloader, but then the main menu didn't get called. Preloader. Why? Let's try it again. Maybe I didn't save it correctly. It's the preloader and the menu doesn't get called. Okay. That's the first question. Init these progress to the loading bar. Okay, now. Okay. Yeah, let's first finish this. Create called after preload completes successfully. Create gets called after preload. Called build scene graph, set input, cameras, tweens, events. Your scenes emit current scene ready. These here, so React can grab the active scene reference. Then update, called once per frame while the scene is active. Okay. This will also be interesting. Now boot. Let's call update. Let's update. Let's do some console logs here and in main menu. Move logo. Yeah. Change scene. No. After here. Update. Yep. Now. Ooh, what's this? Done in. What's this? Hot reloader. Okay, come on. Yeah. Preloader. Update. Boot never got called. It was not active. Yep. Time and delta. What's this delta? Yeah. CWiki. I want to understand what's this time parameter. Time, the current timestamp. delta, the time elapsed since the last frame. Okay, this is a refresh rate, 16 frames per second. Is it? Yeah, I guess. I'm not sure. Okay, but yeah, that's that. Now let's avoid this, just to avoid some overhead for our computer. Now, scene state transitions. Start, stop, switch. The scene start here. Start. Stops the current scene and starts another. Then stop. Stops scene. What if we press... What if, let's see, here, move logo, we call these scene, that's stop, and then this scene, which is main menu, I guess, preloader, main menu, yeah, that's right. So what if we do that when we move the logo? Let's see what happens. Toggle movement. Yep, the scene just disappears. All right, scene switch, swap without a full restart. In your code, create, change scene. Okay, I have a couple of questions. Number one, why? No, wait. On what's this? Preloader. Why? I see the console logs of the progress event in the preloader scene, but not in the main menu scene. Yeah, that's right. Why does that happen? Yeah, that's the first question. Number two, what's the difference? What will be the difference between starting a new scene and switching to a scene? What will be the benefits of swapping without a full restart? It's question number two. Now, let's continue. Pause and resume. Keep a scene in memory, but halt update. Okay. Halt update. We can use pause and resume, of course. Useful for in-game menus. Oh, yeah, that's right. Sleep awake. Disable, enable a scene without tearing it down. Keep state disables update and hides this playlist from input. And another question, what will be the difference between pausing and sleeping a scene? Why will we do one over the other? Let's come to hooks. Shutdown. Fires when a scene is stopped but not destroyed. Clean up timers, input listeners, and events. Here if you plan to restart later. Yeah, we should use shutdown. Yeah. Destroy. Final teardown. Free large references, custom objects, event listeners to avoid leaks. Or actually we should use destroy. Yeah. Call when the scene is removed from the scene manager. Okay. Another question. Where should should we clean up event listeners? Shut down or destroy? Scene events, create, shut down, use this. Okay, how this template connects React Facer. Starts the game and listens to event bus on current scene, exposes game scene via React Ref, and uses the ref to call your active scenes API example notes on your recent edits. You added a set timeout, which I actually already deleted, and let's delete also this to wait. Why is it still telling me that it's modified? I want to discard the changes here. I'm actually going to commit this. And let's see what's happening here. Yeah, I also want to discard these changes. Discard. And let's just keep these two. Where the preloader console logs the progress and the main menu also does the same. Quick mental model constructor set key init prep state UI queue assets, listen to loader events, build a scene and emit ready events, update per frame loop, transition via okay, cleanup via shutdown is ready. If you want, I can add an update loop to demonstrate per frame layer working. Oh, no. Now answer these four questions, and we will be ready to move on. We'll be ready to start after this. Yeah, definitely. Wow. Come on. Now let's see. Preloader progress logs versus main menu. Why preloader logs actually queues assets in preload. These loader emits progress only when there's an active queue and it's running. Why main menu doesn't queue anything to load. You added a listener in init, but no assets are queued, so the loader never starts and never emits. Okay, so let's see if the boot is loading this image. What if I add, let's see, asset? What if I add just like a test.json? And we have a JSON here, we have name test version, yeah, whatever. And now in preloader, in the preload method, what if here, wait, what's happening here? Why preload? Duplicate function. Oh, okay, it's already. Oh yeah. See. We should have it. We should have it all the way up here. Why do we have? Wait. Do we call init first and then preload? I think so, right? Init and then yeah. My bad. Now these. Wait, what? Preload, we are actually loading. We are loading a logo and a star. What? Then why is this not being called? How to see the progress in put file loads in main menu, that preload, not init. Put file loads in preload, not init, for example. Wait, what? I don't understand now. Okay. Oh, okay. I see now. Init. So this is being called. Wait, no, what? Preloader. Wait. Okay. Yeah, okay, I see now. This is being called for this method, for these assets being loaded. Okay, so now I guess if we also call this in boot, we should also load, no wait, what was it? Yeah, load on, and then progress. Yeah, so then we will see the boot, then the preload. That's right, boot, preload. All right. Now then, what I'm going to do here in the main menu, in preload, I'm going to create a preload. So these preloads should actually be load, not image, but I want to load add file, binary, HTML, JSON. Oh wow, I want to load a JSON called just test assets. What was it? Test.json? Test.json, that's right. So then now I'm gonna see the progress in main menu. Isn't it that right? Yeah, that's right. Okay, so that's why I get it now. Start versus switch. Benefits of switching. Now, just one more thing to make sure. This is called first, main menu constructor. Then this is called second. Then this is called third. Then the create. And then the update. So now let's see that in action. It should be constructor, preload, init, and constructor. Wait, what? Yeah. Constructor, init, preload, and create. Init, preload, and then create. Yeah, in this order. All right. Now let's continue. Start versus switch. Benefits of switching. This scene start stops and shuts down the current scene. Starts the target scene fresh. Runs its init, preload, create if not running. Use when you want a clean restart of the next scene and don't need current state. Scene swaps out the current scene in one step. If the target is sleeping, it will be woken. If the target isn't started, it will be started. The current scene is put to sleep, not shut down, preserving its state. Okay, I understand now. Put to sleep. Now, did we mention anything about sleep here? Scene events: create, shut down, sleep, wake, pause, and resume. Yeah. Sleep. That's right. So if we switch the scene, the sleep and wake event are called. Yeah. All right. constructor init preload create. Yeah, and then update. Yeah, that's right. Now, so if we switch the sleeping and awake and wake events are called. If we switch, if not, everything is called init preload create, etc. So if the target isn't started, it will be started. The current scene, yeah. Benefits: faster transitions, preserved state, no full restart. Great for toggling between scenes, game main menu, without losing state. Pause versus sleep. When to switch? Pause. Wait, what? Did it answer my second question? Starting new scene and switching. Yeah, I guess it did. Scene stops updating but still renders. Scene stops updating but still renders. Use when you want the scene visible. Pause overlay on top of gameplay. Pause. Okay. Sleep. Scene stops updating and stops rendering. Hidden, but it's kept in memory. Okay. Okay. Now I have another question. I have a follow-up. So if we pause a scene, does that mean we can put another scene on top of the sleeping scene, the Sleeping Beauty? Used to fully hide a scene and save render time while preserving its state for later wake. Okay. Where to clean up event listeners. Shutdown versus destroy. Shutdown. Fires when a scene is stopped but may be started again. Shutdown. Isn't it this the same as sleep? Clean up transient listeners and subscription here to avoid duplication and restart. Loader. These load off progress. Input. This input off. Timers, twins, if they were created externally. Custom global emitters. Recommended place for most listener cleanup because scenes in your flow main games often restart later. So does that mean? All right, we'll do an experiment. Final teardown when the scene is removed from the scene manager. When the scene is removed from the scene manager. Final teardown. Clean heavy. Final teardown when the scene is removed from the scene manager. Clean heavy external references and anything that must not leak if the scene will never return. Prefer once when possible to avoid persistent listeners. Quick checks in your code. Preloader logs are correct between assets are queued and loading. Logs won't fire until you actually queue loads in preload. Preloader logs are correct because assets are queued and loading. Main menu logs won't fire until you actually queue loads in preload or manual load start. Fate already cleans up its event listener in the React effect cleanup. If you want, I can add minimal preload to main menu and shutdown handler. No. So I just have one more follow-up question and then we'll do a little experiment. Here in main menu. So in init, what I'm going to do is set timer, set timeout. Is it set timeout? I'm not sure. No, that's not what I wanted to call. I wanted to call these time set time. All right, now Control I. Call this console log every 1 second. Set interval. Yes, of course, this. Now, does that mean that if I don't clear this interval, when I change scenes, it's going to be called multiple times? Here it's called every second. Now let's change scenes. It is still being called. Yes. Now it's called. No, wait, what? Yeah, it's been called 2 times now. Now 3 times per second. 4, 5. Yes, we could potentially have a problem here. So we need to be very careful with that. Very careful with that. What we need to do is a const actually here const int interval or it. What's this? Okay, yeah, because this is a class. Yeah, interval. Then we call it here. Then no. Here on shutdown, clear interval. Wait, but I didn't understand now. Destroy. Final teardown when the scene is removed from the scene manager. Shutdown. Fires when a scene is stopped but may be started again later. So when exactly? So when exactly is called destroy? Short answer: pause if you want the underlying scene still visible. Sleep if you want it hidden. Pause stops the scene update but still renders. You can then launch or start another scene above it. Good for freeze gameplay. Sleep stops update and stops rendering. It's hidden. Typical overlay pattern. We pause. We launch the pause menu. We bring to top to fully hide the game while showing another scene. We sleep. Then we launch the inventory. Okay. All right. I understand that. Now, just one more. And main menu. Yeah, so these should now solve that issue, that small issue. Let's see. So we have the main menu being called every second. Ooh, didn't stop. It didn't stop. Ooh, it didn't stop. It did not stop. Did not stop. Now, here's exactly what a scene's destroy life cycle runs in Phaser and how it applies to your project. When destroy fires, explicit removal of a scene. Yeah, so this shutdown is never called. This is never called because we are starting another scene. Scene remove permanently removes it. Destroy is called when we remove the scene. If running shutdown, then destroy. Game teardown. When the whole game is destroyed, all scenes are destroyed. In your code, destroys the game on unmount. This triggers use layout effect. Note, normal scene transitions like scene start do not destroy the current scene. They call shutdown, stop, or sleep away, but the scene instance stays in memory. What doesn't trigger destroy? Start, stop, and restart do not trigger destroy. Stop, start, current gets shut down, now destroy. Stop, scene shut down but still trigger, can be started again later. Restart, runs shutdown. Switch, do sleep and pause. Usually sleeps, no shutdown, destroy. Where to listen for it? Attach cleanup that should run only once when a scene will never return. These events on destroy. Final teardown. Practical guidance. Use shutdown to clean up most listeners' timers you recreate on future start. Example, in main menu shutdown, here's exactly where I have it. You clear interval. This is exactly what I'm doing. This is exactly what I'm doing. Why is it not working? There's the timeout. I changed scenes, but shutdown doesn't get called. Use destroy for final heavy teardown. Only needed if you somewhere destroy. Okay, then why my shutdown event on main menu is not called? I want to clear the interval. I think I'm doing it right, but it's not being called. How is it supposed to be done properly? Yeah, because this is a problem. This is a problem. How do we do this properly? And after we find out how do we do it properly, I want to lay out in Windsurf rules these statements, so it always checks for event listeners or whatever, so we don't have memory leaks. Now, use shutdown isn't called because Phaser doesn't invoke a user-defined shutdown method by name. Instead, scenes and lifecycle events you must subscribe to. Holy crap. Okay. Alright, let's call it, see what happens. Listen to scene events on these events. Phaser shutdown when the scene stops. Stop store handler references so you can remove them if needed. Store handler references so you can remove them if needed. Example, fix in. Why didn't he do it? Private unload progress console log. Main menu constructor, okay. Unload progress. What? Okay. Unlock progress, okay. Okay, on shutdown. On shutdown, where do we subscribe to shutdown? Main menu shutdown, clear interval, these load, off progress. On destroy, final cleanup. If scene is permanently destroyed. Init, we set the interval here. Load progress. This event once shutdown and shutdown. Okay. Defined in the class method named shutdown doesn't hook into lifecycle automatically. Phaser emits events. It doesn't call scene shutdown by convention. Okay. When it will fire with your flow. Okay, so we subscribe to this event like this. These events once. These events once. Phaser emits events it doesn't call shutdown by convention. When it will fire with your flow calls this scene start. Main menu will emit shutdown so your handler will run and clear the interval. Extra tips. If you use pause sleep, shutdown will not fire. Use pause sleep events on those cases if you need handling here. Prefer once for shutdown destroy to avoid duplicate handlers on restart. Okay. If TypeScript complains about Node.js timeout in the browser, use number or return type, set interval for the interval type. Summary. Okay. All right. Okay, can you give me a what is it? A reference note about these, because I think it's very important to avoid memory leaks and CPU overhead and stuff like that. So I want to pass this node to my AI developer that will be taking over this project. Let's see now. Here's a consists. What? Wait, what? That's too much. Just a note. Just a note. Like tips, and give me a block ready to copy and paste. That's too much, man. I can't do that. Now, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be creating, where is it? Customization, no. Or yeah, customization rules. Yeah, we're going to be creating a new rule. What? That's too much, man. What the hell? Tip sheet. Tips to avoid leaks or use lifecycle. What the hell? No. I don't want any code samples. I just want the notes. Give me the quick tip notes in a code block or in a block ready to copy and paste. Come on, man. Have to do better than that. You have to do better than that. Phaser, Next.js, yeah. No, man. I just want to tell my AI agent things like remember to stop events or or shut down event listeners, blah blah. Phaser tips lifecycle sequencing. Yeah, this is better. Thank you. Thank you. Now let's do a customizations rules workspace. We'll call this, I don't know, let's see. Keep it leak. We'll call this I don't know, leak safe guide. All right, and then this can be manually activated. No, always on, always on, always on. Yeah, that's right, always on. Let's remove this, and I'm gonna be back in 2 minutes because I need to go to the bathroom. are back. We are back now. We are back now, and let's try to see how do we recover this. I get this error. PSFP 4858M. Six. It's weird. Properties, deactivate. Where is deactivate? That was it. That was it. That was it. Yeah. Okay, now let's continue. Yeah, we got this now. So now the way to do this will be then here these events that once, and then what's this event called? Phaser that scenes that events that shutdown. We're gonna have these function called clear private on shutdown, and then here we're gonna have these. Yeah. There it is. Now it should work now. So we have the timeout. Now we change scenes. Main menu shutdown. That's right. That's what's up. Shutdown. And on destroy. These low dot off. Private on load progress equals yep, just like that. All right, we have now everything we need now. We have everything we need now. So we're going to persist, commit this change. Yeah. And we're gonna put an end to this. So we're gonna continue tomorrow or some other day, but let's leave these as it is for now. That was it. Thank you guys for watching. I know this was not what you expected. We didn't advance much, but this is just my journey on developing this game, and I needed first to understand how the framework Phaser works, more or less. So I needed that before starting to actually vibe code. And I know vibe coding just means let the AI do everything, but we can't do that. We can't afford that because we always have to give it our input because most of the times it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. We have to keep an eye on it. We have to tell it exactly what to do, how we want it, and most of all, do best practices, like implement best practices. And so, for example, I think this is great to tell it to always clean up events, remove timers, etc. So this was this was great. This was a good start. Next season, I mean next session, we're gonna start with the actual development. So let's do that later. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next